So it all stems back from the beginning, when the United States decided to, demanded that the Taliban turn over Osama bin Laden and his Al-Qaeda confreres. And they refused to do that, so the Americans attacked. And the way they did that was in a very unusual way, with a very small number of CIA officers on the ground, special operations forces directing airstrikes, which were devastating. But what happened is the Taliban collapsed and disintegrated and fled in the manner that I described a few minutes ago. And so many of them were killed or taken prisoner, but many others, including Mullah Omar, their leader, fled to Pakistan, where they were given shelter and allowed to, in fact, help to rehabilitate and then reinfiltrate the country. So the conditions for insurgency were there from the beginning. It also doesn't help that there is a sympathetic regime next door in Pakistan, where they were able to take shelter and get supplies and flee to if they were under pressure. But then, the sort of this is a massive undertaking to try to democratize and create a central government in a country that's basically never had that before. It's an incredibly ethnically diverse and very poverty-stricken country, and that's really hard ask. And what you saw over time with the regime that the Americans put in, led by Hamid Karzai, was this divergence of interests that occurred over time. And one of the important things, there were a number of issues that were causing that, but one was the sort of aggressive way the Americans wanted to wage the war, which resulted in a lot of civilian casualties, if unintended. And the pressure that Karzai felt from the population to try and resist that. And so what you saw was he would repeatedly denounce the United States in the press, and relations got quite bad between the two, such that, we were not sad to see him leave when he finally left office. But it turns out, that rebuilding or building in the first place, a country that's been at war since 1979, basically, and trying to transform it into a modern democracy, that's a bridge too far in most cases. And the United States spent an extremely large amount of money trying to build both an Afghan state and an Afghan military and police that could defend itself and defend the country. But there was an enormous amount of corruption there, such that the military was actually much smaller than we thought, because a lot of the money was going into the pockets of warlords, generals, rather than being spent on soldiers, with the result that when the United States withdrew, started to pull back, the army very quickly collapsed.